Pastor Jamal Bryant. Mm-hmm. What's that relationship like with y'all? What up, world? What up, world? We back for another episode of Infinite Vibes. Clap it up for ourselves.
We back.
I am Moran, the man. B-Lex in the building. What's happening?
Yes. What's up, brother? It's B-Lex checking in. You know. What's the vibes?
Man, the vibes are A1. We good. We chilling.
We
you know what I'm saying? Drinking a lot of water.
Yeah,
you know
just trying to be legendary like this person is.
Like this person right here, man. We're in the presence of the son of a pastor, man. The pastor son.
Third generation.
Three
minister,
3G?
okay?
No. You didn't say that right.
What'd I say?
I'm the son of a bishop.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Yeah, black church
Get
is a
right.
rap. Yeah, absolutely.
But he is a third generation minister.
Third generation minister, absolutely.
Son of a bishop. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners, King?
I think I'm on this center camera right here. Name is Ed Long Jr., formerly known as Young Dirty Bishop, representing the east side of ATL, south side, Shawty, you already know what it is. And I'm proud to be part of the Infinite Vibes. You feel
Okay.
me?
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you for the open door.
Yeah, of course.
On a
We've
scale
been talking about it.
for real, we have.
No, let me tell you how this came about. He reached out to me and was like, man, are y'all looking to have some real conversations? And I had been telling you, that's how you know how God be working, because I had been telling him, like, we need to pick certain different, roles and careers outside of just the typical artist and what we do, so we can have real conversations.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is needed for the community. And I'm just thankful that you're here.
Praise God.
You
And
know
we
what
go
I'm
back. I don't know if she told you.
Yeah. How y'all go? How did y'all meet?
Man, I told you I work for the WNBA.
Yep.
He was the in-game host. So he would be there every game, and I would be, of course, selling season tickets and tickets and taking care of my groups and stuff.
Trapping tickets.
And
I said you was trapping tickets.
I was trapping tickets for the Dream, for the Atlanta Dream. And yeah, he was just always so cool, good energy. You really did your thing as an in-game host.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. I'm scarred from DEI. You feel me?
You were scarred from it?
I'm scarred from it.
What's up?
I'm saying today I'm scarred from it.
Why? What happened?
And I know DEI is a big thing right now. That all in the media, all in the press, et cetera, et cetera. People
Right.
are boycotting,
Right.
various companies and ventures or what have you. But there are some sides to DEI that people don't really discuss.
Talk
that
about
people
it.
don't really get into. And we're in a world where things are very focused on being pro-women. You look at the SBA, Small Business Administration.
Yes.
They have various programming for veterans.
Yeah.
They have various programming for minorities as a whole. They have specific programming for women. But there is nothing indicative of men or the African diaspora of men.
Yeah.
When you look at the Me Too movement, when
Right.
you look at the feminist movement,
Right.
which somewhat could be argued to say it equals the emasculation movement. There are all these different things that take place, and I don't hear anybody talking about the African diaspora male and the plight that we face. I've read plenty of articles and looked at many things that say, probably the worst person to be is an African-American male in America.
I ain't gonna lie. Me and shout out my younger brother Pluto. We literally had this conversation the other day.
Come on, bro. We in the house.
On everything.
Y'all
on
was
everything.
smoking or sober?
No, we were sober. We was just
Okay,
kicking
I
it.
got you.
We literally, unfortunately, it's like, we hate to say it, but like on paper, it feels like the world doesn't care about black men.
And see,
on
guys,
paper.
if guys say that, then it's like, oh, you itching. I ain't gonna put the B in front of that. Or you this, you that. You ain't no real man. And I get you, but every other group, the white man got it. That's just cool. You in that space. The Caucasian woman is actually where DEI started.
Right.
It was a feminist movement because they wanted equal to the white man, and that was in their house.
Right.
Forget even being in their community. That started in their houses,
Right.
if you will. That's 1700, 1800. You can track that back even to the Caucasus Mountains, all of England, all of that.
Yep.
Now,
What you know about the Caucasus Mountains?
oh man, come on now. We world travel,
Yeah,
man. We
okay.
exposed
He
out
just
here.
told us about how he got arrested coming from Korea, man. Shoot.
Hey, man.
That's crazy,
We got to
though.
talk about that too, but yes, keep going.
So check it out, right? We had these things going on. Now, when you look at the history of it here in these pseudo-United States, all right, they were fighting for the right to work, have their own bank accounts.
Women were.
Yes, women. Not all women, though. The Caucasian women. They were not
So when
fighting.
we were able to.
They were not fighting for this for the women that look like you.
That's the
Understand
real.
that.
That's the real.
You
That's
did
the
not
real,
get your voting rights until everybody got their voting rights.
But the white women had to get it first.
But it was never about you.
Mm-hmm.
It never became inclusive of the African diaspora woman until they needed more numbers. Until they needed more influence. Look at this. And I don't know where y'all stand on sexuality. And, you know, some arguments I don't jump in.
Right.
Because I just show love.
That's right.
Because some arguments you don't impact people through arguing.
Right.
You impact them just through love.
That's right.
So this is not for argument's sake. This is just for example's sake.
Right.
You look at the LGBTQIA plus and anything else that may be connected to that.
Right.
Now it started off as gay as lesbian.
Right.
When we was kids, you know, we cracked jokes, called people faggots or whatever the case may be, whatever. Cool. Cool, maybe not cool, whatever. Let me say, I don't want folks be on here trying to counsel people. You can't counsel me though.
It wasn't cool, but this is what we did.
All right. So now you fast forward somewhere in the matriculation of our lives as millennials, it organized into the LGB. Then it got another letter. Then it got another letter. Then it got another letter. Now, when these letters keep coming together, this alphabet comes together, what it's doing is trying to make it be less of a minority and the movement become a majority. Because the more numbers that we can say we have, then a larger percentage of the pool or the population of people that we can say ascribe to our methodology, our lifestyle, our theology, if you will, or whatever the case may be. For instance, if you just let the T sit out there on its own, then less than 1% of Americans ascribe to transgender. So it's not an issue. But if we can put that with this other 6%, then now we got 7%. If we can put that 7%, how many of y'all say y'all go both ways? Oh, you bisexual? Oh, we got 15 more percent. Now we up to 30%. Now we're up to, you follow me?
Yep.
So my point in that is the same concerning the feminist movement.
Right.
That, well, maybe we should include the women of color just so we can get the numbers. We have more people standing with us. We're not really fighting for what is really, really important to you.
So true.
We're bringing you in to fight for what's really important for us.
And we see that because the numbers don't lie. When we see who came out when it came to the presidential election, right? We saw that the white woman is always going to go with what her white male counterparts are doing. They're not really.
I mean,
it's like I mean, the numbers didn't lie, and they dogged the black man, but the numbers didn't lie. The black man showed up. It was only a small percentage of black men that were Republican and went with Trump. But regardless if you're Democratic or Republican, we just want the right person who willing to make life, like for people who got to take care of their elderly parents, for people who need Medicaid, because we know, I mean, me and my brother, we can relate. We taking care of elderly and sick and people who are not able, incompetent, right?
I've been there, yeah.
Okay, so we here for the everyday person, not the rich people.
The everyday average person. We don't care whoever you click on with, we'll care about that shit.
Fuck her being a woman. She spoke to the everyday person. And when you looked at the numbers about, oh, she locked up black men, first of all, the population in California, black men don't make up that population. She couldn't arrest that many black men doing her job because we all know whether we like a police officer or not, they have to do their job. We can't say all prosecutors, all police are bad. We just got, okay, they doing their job. They got to do what they got to do. But when the numbers there, it was like, oh, she locked up more Latinos than anything. But it's like, you got to do your own research. And I agree with you. I do think they are manipulating us to think that they're creating systems to help us. But in reality, what they're doing is making their impact better. Yeah. So they can get the money, the grants, the funding, because it's all about the dollar.
It's all about the dollar, yeah, for sure.
They able to get grants. And when you create nonprofits and say you helping a community. And
that's tax-free.
Yeah, like, you get millions of dollars.
Sure, that's tax-free.
Yeah, like, so now I can be able to show, hey, this is what we doing for the community. We got these percentages that we're helping that are transgenders. We got this percent. So it's all about the money at the end of the day.
It's the numbers. So I got on this talking about being scarred from my experience with the WNBA.
Right.
And let me preface this. I love the WNBA. More specifically, I love the Atlanta Dream.
Yes.
I was on contract with them for 6 seasons.
Yeah, you did your thing.
And so had an awesome time.
Right.
The scarring came, and what I'm talking about with DEI is that I had a short hiatus for one of the seasons. I had been the in-game host for 2 seasons.
Right.
Then a new person in leadership came on board, who my role was subject to their decision. And she said verbatim, I will always choose a woman over a man. Stop playing, bro. So it had nothing to do with commitment. It had nothing to do with tenure. It had nothing to do with qualifications. It had nothing to do with, brand alignment, if you will. Maybe she could make that argument. I want a woman with a woman organization, whatever case. But I didn't even have a chance, and I already had been in the role for 2 years.
Right.
You already showed your experience.
So she brought another personality on, who I'm cool with. So I'm not even gonna mention that person's name.
Right.
I know if I wasn't cool with, I wouldn't mention the name. But that person came, and they had the most trouble out of her. They called me back mid-season. But you will always choose a woman over a man, is what you said. So that's round one of that. Then it happened. Part of the reason why I'm not with the organization now is because that happened again 2 years ago, if you will. Now, it wasn't stated like that, but there were a few of us then who were hosting. And as they went forward, they just went forward with the woman. Now, when we look at the National Basketball Association, they have men and women in the roles. But within the WNBA, I guess if you're not a woman, it doesn't fit what we're trying to accomplish here. And that could be fact, that could be assumption. But what it is it's my experience.
Right.
So how you feel about...
That's your experience, I understand.
The WNBA is in an interesting place right now as a whole. As a league, is in a very interesting place.
Talk about it. Them numbers up now.
I mean...
Because we was there when them numbers was down.
Oh, my God. We was in the trenches. Come on.
Be honest about that.
Come on. In the trenches.
So,
yes.
Bro, we was in 4 different arenas.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like for real. It was a time.
Right. So... Have you seen the videos of Angel Reese and them saying that they're probably gonna like protest and not play and do a lockout if they don't get paid more money?
I haven't seen that, but let's talk about the money.
Okay.
Because everything boils down to the numbers.
Right.
And people are looking saying, okay, well, the fellas are getting paid supermax contracts and all these type of things. And it boils down to this. Ticket sales, interest in the general population, TSL, time spent listening in radio, or time spent viewing, TSV, in television. And so they can look at different things that then determine what they can sell this product for.
Right.
They've never been able to do arenas until Caitlin Clark comes in.
Right.
Now, do I think that Caitlin Clark is X, Y, and Z? I think she's an awesome athlete. I think she's a beast. I think she's the bomb. Do I think that she's the best athlete to ever come through the WNBA? Absolutely not.
No.
She wasn't in college. Our young African-American sister who went to, and the school is escaping me, she did the numbers even better
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said nothing.
They weren't tracking it like that. And the institution she was in, HBC, all that stuff, they weren't giving it that credit and credence.
Exactly.
So it's already been done. What it is that Caucasian America found their Larry Bird in her.
That's right.
And so
speak on it.
Like that.
They're following her off of that. Juju is fine right now.
She already beat her record. At the timeline of being a sophomore, she already beat Caitlin Clark's record for that, right?
So Juju going crazy.
Yeah,
Shout out to the $100
fired.
million man, Stephen A. Smith. They calling him Sass now. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway,
They don't like what he was saying.
But no, I don't know how I feel about a man having the nickname Sass.
Sass,
I don't think he came up with that. But anyway, so in all of that, Juju is killing it.
She is.
And if it wasn't for Stephen A. Smith shouting her out consistently, I don't know where else she's gonna get the press from.
But Caitlin Clark,
she didn't have to ask for nothing.
She didn't have to ask.
It's just boom.
Right.
So we're talking not apples to apples. We're talking apples to mustard seeds.
Dang.
And I use mustard seeds for a reason, because the Bible says that the faith of a mustard seed can do something.
Yeah.
That's right.
So right now you're small. The NBA is still small compared to this. WNBA is still small compared to this apple, this watermelon of a NBA.
Yeah.
But if y'all keep believing, you can get there, but it's going to take time. And it's
right.
also going to take people spending the money to
right.
bring the capital there, because you can't pay people what the business is not generating.
Right.
And so
that's what I was getting.
Let's
it's
take
like,
the emotionalism out of it.
Take you know, like feelings, like facts and feelings. I want to see all these women get paid.
Right.
I do.
But if we don't show up as a community, they cannot get paid.
If it's not generating that revenue, if it's still being subsidized by the NBA, then that's the. It's not even an indicator. That's the fact.
That's the fact.
It cannot undergird what you all are thinking that you deserve or
Right.
expect to have. Hell, all three of us expect to be paid $1 billion for what we do.
But we don't
But
get
expectation versus reality is two different things.
right.
Absolutely.
As radio personalities, we all aspired at some point in our life to be on the radio.
Right.
Then when we got the radio and saw what they paid people on radio, it's like, oh no, dog, this ain't it.
Yeah.
I should have went to
That's a
med
fact.
school or something and did this on the side. What? What are we talking about?
Hey,
But there were a
looked
few
good.
people, the Tom Joiners and the fly jock and all of that,
They
who
can
were
get
making
paid,
$1 million.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was 3, 4, 5 of them in the game, Steve Harvey, etc.
Yeah.
That we all thought, oh, that's finna be it.
Right.
But when you sign and they like, oh yeah, well, this is what we giving you these coins right here, and you like, Mama, I thought I was gonna be able to go put down in the apartment, but
I'm gonna need to stay a couple
I can't put up the first and last month rent. I'm gonna need a little more time.
Right.
I go work these clubs at
Right,
night.
right. I just stay my bread up a little bit.
that's real. So you brought up the Bible. You brought up the faith of the mustard seed, right?
Yes.
You are the son of a bishop.
Come on,
I really, really, really would like to know your perspective on modern day church.
for sure.
And the reason why I asked that is because a lot of pastors have been under a lot of fire. You know, we saw last year what happened at Bishop William Murphy's church, breaking in the year swag surfing. There have been a lot of conversations regarding modern day black
Absolutely.
church. So
Absolutely.
how do you feel about the state of
If I could split myself in two,
right?
the word of God is a double-edged sword. All right, so I'm going to take the word, I'm going to partition myself
Okay.
in two for a second. On one hand, I'm elated and ecstatic about various things that I'm seeing in the faith-based community, specifically the church.
Right.
Innovation, embracing of certain things that were demonized, if you will, that were never really to be demonized, but culture,
Yeah.
vain tradition, if you will, caused us to look at certain things in a way that was not right. I'm
That's
enjoying
right.
seeing, here we go, DEI. I'm enjoying seeing women preaching,
Yeah.
if you will,
Yeah.
things of that nature. That's awesome. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
As a music artist, as one of the, might say they be calling me OG now. I don't know how I feel about that, bro. I really
gotta
don't
own
know.
it.
I'm not old enough to be OG, man. I
You
don't
not
know
old
what,
enough?
I think it's just they just know I'm entrenched in it. But
Yeah.
being one
You've
of the
been around.
first
You've been around.
faith-based
Yeah.
music artists, all of those types of things, and now seeing what I used to get called a heretic about. With my radio show, my music projects I produce, I was mixing my dad with Jagged Edge, T-Pain, 112, all who become solid relationships over the years.
Right.
Brothers even, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
At the time, that was wrong. That was, you're a heretic. You're mixing
The
the
secular.
gospel with this. But we're bringing mainstream artists on, and we're not compromised. We're not talking about who we smash tonight.
Right.
We're bringing, we elevating. We're talking about love, life, liberation,
Right.
kingdom principles.
Right.
I think that's what we're supposed to be on.
Right.
But now
Right,
you
right.
got Kirk Franklin doing records with Lil Baby.
Right.
You got Lecrae doing records with Ty Dolla $ign, talking
Right.
about being blessed, etc. So
Lecrae getting shouted out by Kendrick.
I love that.
follow
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
So I'm ecstatic about these things,
Right.
if you will. On the flip side, though, man, some of the stuff that's actually taking place in the pulpit
Okay.
is weird to me, bro.
Okay.
It's disappointing. And some of the persons who are doing some of the things have personally tried to reprimand me for things that I was doing that they didn't understand. And instead of asking me questions about what I was doing, they viewed it through whatever lens
Right.
and then tried to demonize me versus talking through it.
Right.
And so now when I see some of them who I know and the others who I don't know doing some of these things, I think it's cap.
Yeah.
I think it's clout chasing.
Uh-oh.
I think that it is identity crisis. I think that now some may have gotten a bag
Yeah.
and can go wear some Louis Vuitton and some other things that may have been aspirational with them before, and it's midlife crisis, etc. Bro, don't wait till you 50, 60, 70 to try to be that guy because of a necklace that you can now put on or some clothes. When you that guy,
You that
Right.
guy.
It's in you.
you
It's
that
not on
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you got the it factor, that's it. You follow me? And so I'm concerned because some of these, I guess they would be emerging generals, as my dad has transitioned, as Bishop Jakes is more senior now, and Fred Price has transitioned, and Blake and Carlton Pearson have gone, and well, Blake is still here, but more senior, and Carlton Pearson has transitioned, and all of that. This next wave of guys is like those who right behind us going to be looking at like, oh, that's the bar right there,
right?
And it's not.
Right.
Jesus is the bar,
right?
And what they're doing is not really aligned, or some of it is godly, but Paul says you have a form of godliness,
yeah,
but it ain't really godliness,
right?
And I'm concerned, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, Foss, I gotta ask, because your father knew birth.
Absolutely.
Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
What's that relationship like with y'all?
I'm on a journey, bro.
Okay.
I'm on a journey of seeing what's out here for me. Because where I found myself, you never could have told me 7, 8 years ago, a decade ago, that this is where we would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's including my dad's transition and every single thing after that.
Right.
My hope for Jamal and I is that whatever work needs to be done, we can get it done. Meaning between us.
Right.
So that the kingdom work can take place.
Right.
I do my best to just be mute about it, if you will, because much of it I don't understand. And God is not the author of confusion. My goal in anything I go into is to bring love, be love, and sustain love. And that's my hope there. So when things are well, everybody will know they're well.
Right.
Because it won't be no question. You'll just be able to see it, and there it is.
Right.
I'm always ready, willing, open to do the work, whatever that work is that needs to be done, so that there can be some sort of synergy and intentional collaborating.
So, and the reason why I ask is because, I don't know Pastor Jamal Bryant at all. I don't know him at all. But he's somebody that is, the name is very popular. And we all know that he definitely took over, your church, the church that was once run by your father. So I would, if it's too much, stop me. But because I really
I told you I'm an open book.
Okay, good. If it's
So
too
it's
much,
no longer your family church. No more.
So dynamics concerning that.
Right.
Is that New Birth started as a split. A lot of people don't know the history of the church.
Yeah.
It started as a split. And so left out of Scottsdale, went over to Decatur. My father was pastoring a church up in Cedartown, Cedartown Baptist Church. And New Birth had gone through this search or whatever. It was only like a year and a half or so old at the time. And the previous pastor had to exit. So they were doing a search for a pastor. Went through some 100 and some, I think 63 to be specific, pastors. And they got down to the final 2. And getting down to the final 2, they're, still auditioning, if you will.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget my guy, Ron Ramsey. He's a judge now, very influential gentleman. And he called my dad. They were frat brothers. And said, hey, man, it's a church over here I think that you would be great for. And he mentioned them to the deacon board. They called my dad, had him come over and minister. He shared a sermon, and they shut it down. They said, this is our guy. You follow me?
Absolutely.
And it was no smoke and mirrors.
Right.
It was no backroom deals, no finagling, all of those type of things. So from there, the church was at approximately 300 members. This is 1987. You feel me? I'm 4 years old.
Right.
I didn't exist. No, we didn't exist.
Yeah, we didn't.
Y'all was seeds.
Yeah, we said, we was in the
We was in the sack.
making.
We was in the sack.
Right.
And so from there, within 3 years or so, church had like 3,000 members. We had to build another building right next door. We roll around emerging, or approaching rather. 2000 is emerging. I say it like that. The year 2000. And we moved over to Stonecrest.
Yeah, locked on you.
And built the nearly 7,000 seat sanctuary. The previous one was about 3,500 seats. And just leveling up. And so my dad pastored New Birth for approximately 29 years. He transitioned just shy of 30 freaking years, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying?
Building it from literally
brick
ground,
by brick. And so, you know, when New Birth goes from being a family and a community church to all that it is now.
Right.
So you have to look at it from a different lens. When we came to New Birth, it would be no different than a church that's just in your neighborhood.
Right.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
God graced my father and used my father to turn it into a real kingdom embassy that arguably most any and every church has in some way, form, or fashion based something that they do.
Right.
New Birth was definitely a trend.
Right.
Like New Birth, just from just my childhood, growing up here in Georgia, growing up in Atlanta, like it was definitely like a trendsetter type church. Like they set a lot of trends. They did a lot of great things in the community. So, you know, you being there, like this is literally your family.
Oh, I'm the church baby.
Right.
Since I was 4. Yeah.
Being a church baby. And again, if we go too deep, I would ask.
Man,
it's just,
you good, bro.
I personally would like to know, just you're the son of Eddie Long. So when the controversy happens, when the accusations come out, how did that affect you?
Oh man, it still affects me to this day. See, the thing about life is that we all are in some sort of cycle of grief.
Right.
The first thing is understanding the stages of grief, bargaining, anger. You feel me?
It's 5 different stages.
It's more than that. They
Yeah.
give a
But they
primary
give you 5, yeah.
I think it's more. I think it's more.
Because I'm in therapy and that's what we going through because I'm experiencing grief. So I understand what you mean. Like you got your anger, you got your resentment, you got the denial stage, you have your, I'm accepting stage, or you have your depression stage.
Come on,
it's different. Yeah, it's different stages.
Absolutely.
But it's not going to be in order when you hit those stages.
Nope.
It's not like 1, 2, 3. It's like you could be 1 day, 5 the next,
Absolutely.
2,
Oh, yeah.
and then, So for you,
yes.
dealing with the
you
loss.
right.
Yeah, and also your reputation is a legacy. When we talk about legacy and family, right? We know that the Longs have that. They have the legacy. They have, you said, almost 30 years
That's a long
doing
time.
something consistently and building it. To Moran's point, it's like, how do you deal with all that and overcome and still do what you do? Because I would have never known you was grieving at the time when I met you almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, it was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know your situation. I didn't know your story.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Well,
Yeah.
I would like to give credit to that statement or project the credit for that statement just to faith, to everything that my dad taught, to everything that we live and walk in. You know, with Migos, Drake, them say, walk it like you talk it.
Yes.
And so we can't preach faith, we can't talk faith if that's not what we embody and project when we're going through faith challenging situations.
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so where I am on that spectrum, if you will, is acceptance. Acceptance is when you have come into a place of it's resolving.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that you won't hit an anger moment,
Right.
which is part of the grief, because those are moments.
Mhm.
You won't hit
Temporary.
whatever, because you can still cycle through. You can be both and. It doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah.
That's
Some
right.
things can be right at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know?
And so I'm in a place of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
That's why to your prior question you asked, I said, look, hey, I'm on a journey. God, however this is, because I have to be accepting, not necessarily agreeing,
Right.
not necessarily any other synonym, but I accept it, Lord. This is where we are. And so if I'm on a journey with you, it requires all of my faith.
That's right.
That's a bar.
Because nothing that has transpired, you couldn't have prophesied this to me. You couldn't have whatever. And truly, I can't find my story in the Bible, not in one person. I have to go cherry pick this from Jesus. I got to go cherry pick a little bit of that from Jonathan and Saul's kindred, and I got to go cherry pick this from Job, and I got to steal this from Joseph. I got to, pack this thing in together because my specific story I can't find. My point is that means I'm on a faith journey. Right. And I don't want, people say I'm being blasphemous or what have you, but I say this to people oftentimes. We got the Old Testament, and we had a New Covenant. New Covenant synonymous with the New Testament. Right. All right. I believe that the Word of God is still being written. So we got New Testaments.
Right.
That's our lives because we are living epistles. Right. Once we become believers and we get on this trajectory of being discipled in the Word of God, somebody is going to talk about us at some point. People already talk about my dad. Right. So that means that his story of faith is another chapter in the Bible. It may not be canonized, and y'all may not know what I mean with these terms, but it's another story. Right. Belax is another story, and so I'm just on the faith journey. Right. And I'll allow myself to be however I am when I am that. Yeah. So if I wake up one morning, I put up a post, I archived it now. I reposted what my sister said. And she put up something on her story. She was like, bruh, man, that grief thing is real. You can just be riding, minding your business, turning up to your whatever record. Yeah. And all of a sudden you just start crying.
Yes.
And you like, what? And that's what it is. Right. Yeah. And so many people can relate to that. And I don't walk around just saying how I feel. Right. I don't just blow that trumpet. But I enjoy conversations like this because we can talk about it. Yeah. Right. And give strategies, give insight on how to navigate. So anybody who has gone through my story, yes, it's big. It's a large story based on who my father is in that figure. But these principles that I'm rolling with, you apply them the same. Find the best way to get over that Negro that broke your heart is to do what?
They say go be with somebody else.
Find you another Negro. Find some more cat, so what that means is dream again.
That's right.
It's nothing I can do about new birth.
Right.
I don't own it. I've tried all I can do. Yeah.
Right.
So all I can do is be loving, be forgiving. Jesus said, bless those that curse you. I'm not saying that new birth has cursed me. Don't take it like that. But my point is that there are just certain principles that we have to apply so that we can be light, so that we don't carry this burden, this grudge, if you will. And we probably could, rightfully so. I can't tell you amount of folks that said, boy, you better than me. I'd have been turned up on the Negro. Boy, hey, boy, just call me. But you already know where I'm at with you. You feel what I'm saying?
Y'all finna turn up in the church.
Man, I had a thing in the trunk all the time. But it's come on, man. What?
That's because y'all human. Everybody's human. I think it's unrealistic expectations on religion, period. Like you don't have the right to make a mistake. You don't have the right. Like people don't even understand even being an educator. Yeah. They can't even go out. Well, in today's world, a camera everywhere you go, right? They can't even go out and enjoy themselves with their homegirls, homeboys, without somebody recording it and it going viral on social media, and then their livelihood is in jeopardy.
The pastor was at the Janet Jackson concert.
You can't be an 11th grade teacher twerking at Boogaloo. That's going to get back to your superintendent.
Because let's be real, because it was stated TD Jakes was caught being at the Diddy parties, right?
Right.
Well, okay, so what, right? So what? So what if he was at the party? Did he do all the allegations that they saying? That's what we.
I think that's a legit question, though. I think that's a legit question.
Why I can't be at a party?
That don't mean he was doing anything.
That don't mean I'm just there.
So let's. And I've never really talked about this, but you mentioned it, so people gonna view it just because these folks watch all this stuff and they'll say, "Oh, Ed Long said this about Jake's." So quote me properly if you're gonna do all of that. I think the problem concerning Jake's being at Puff's party is a few things. Number one, Jake's wasn't built like that. What I mean built like that, his brand wasn't built on being at quote unquote secular events. His brand was built on, I mean, we call him the Black Pope. You feel what I'm saying? So his brand was built on, maybe holiness, this pinnacle of what it's like to be a man of the cloth and all those types of things.
Right.
Whereas my dad's brand was built off, Bishop Long be in the streets. There's rumors of him selling drugs. You're going to see Bishop Long, on a song with Ludacris. He won a Grammy with Ludacris. Or, you're going to see Bishop Long, doing something with T.I. or whatever.
Right.
So the optics initially are different.
Right.
You feel me? Then what Diddy was about, if it's a T.D. Jakes at, who's bubbling right now? We'll just say, Killer Mike or somebody here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Who's on some social justice stuff. Shout out to Mike. That's my dog. All of that. The optics are different. It's like, T.D. Jakes was at Killer Mike's birthday celebration. Also, Andre Dickens was there. Also, and so Tyler Perry. So when you have all these other names, it starts padding it, if you will. And you don't have a history of X, Y, and Z concerning Killer Mike.
Right.
So I think that he's caught in the crossfire of Diddy's stuff.
Reputation. Right.
And now the church, because that's the main people that have a problem.
It's the church.
It's the church, traditionalists, etc. He had no business being there. He's doing this and he's doing the X, Y, and Z. And it's like, really? Do you really think that this guy is going to be at a Diddy party letting his hair down there? If he had to let his hair down anywhere
around all them people,
this is where he's gonna do it with all the cameras there,
bloggers
that are
the
there,
camera.
all these type of things. If anywhere, this is gonna be where he's on his best behavior.
That's right.
Cause I would be
right,
and I'd be in the clubs.
Yep.
I'd be. You feel me? Young dirty Bishop. So. My wife know. I ain't got to worry about him if he over there, cause that's where he ain't gonna mess up.
Right.
So no, Jakes is not going to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Then, as I aforementioned, I don't think most Christians really know the word of God.
Yeah.
Because if you know the word of God, then you can understand what a man of the cloth is doing when we're in certain environments.
Right.
Matthew, Jesus is sitting here and he's at in a house with tax collectors who were hated at that time, politicians who were hated, strippers and all kind of other lewd lifestyle people, and he's sitting down eating with them. The synagogue or the church leaders come in and they say, hey, knock on the door, bro, Jesus, what are you doing here?
Right.
This is, oh my God.
Like what?
They are insulted, appalled, and anything else.
God forbid you're trying to preach to them and change, give them some perspective.
You who are healthy, y'all are good. But those who are sick need a doctor. He's saying they don't even know they have an issue.
Right.
But they let me come in.
Yes.
They're accepting of me. They're not accepting of y'all with all of your, prayers and all your robes and all this.
Right.
So I had to tone it down.
Right.
And they allowed me to come in. And it starts off with first this one, Matthew and I met. I was able to convert him to the point where he brought me around his partner them.
No, for real.
So if Jakes is able to have influence on Diddy, now Puff can do whatever he want to do.
Right.
He can listen to some of what Jake says and then refute other things, whatever. But the fact that he had an audience with him allows him to have influence with all these other people.
That's right.
And if believers would stop and understand, this is evangelical. It was outreach. It was outreach.
Perspective.
And they are crucifying this guy on being somewhere, being who he is. Bishop Jakes, providing counsel, praying for, extending a blessing to somebody that was in a moment of need.
Because not everybody's going to go to the church. That's the thing. They think that you're going to find God in the church. That's not how always it happens for everybody. You can find church in the strip. If somebody's there to speak to you directly, like it don't matter where you at. If you're being touched by that spirit, like it could be a pastor there just wanting to just create the environment.
Can I tell you why I found God?
Tell me how you
Now
found
I'm a
God.
son of a bishop.
Yeah.
And your point is totally right. I got baptized at 7 in New Birth when we was on Snapfinger Road. All right. In the second building that Pop built.
Okay.
All right. And baptized, I'm just going through the motions.
Right.
It's a great day. Cool. Growing up, rapping, being in church, performing, doing all these things. going on everything they exposed us to, youth trips and all this.
Right.
Boy, we was heathens. We on church youth trips, fraternizing with the girls. It might as well just been Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah,
something.
that's right. It wasn't no ministry.
Hey,
So
it be like that.
Right.
that's what you feel
It be
me.
like that. It be like that.
So in all of that, I didn't come into Christ for real until I was like 20. My partner Rico Love, music producer extraordinary.
Shout out to him.
Another partner of mine, D-Town, another major music producer. He produced a lot of stuff on Jagged's new album, Jagged Edge's new album. Y'all go stream that. All original parts. Shout out to Cal, Wingo. And we all were going, well, we weren't going, we were at the Deck. Now, I don't know if y'all remember the club called the Deck.
I've heard of the Deck. I've never been, but
It's
I've heard
on Columbia.
of the Deck.
It's that whole little shopping plaza shut down.
On the
now.
east side.
On the east side.
Yep.
So the Deck is right here, and Jazzy T's is right here.
Yeah.
Y'all heard of Jazzy T's?
Of course.
Strip club.
Of course.
Okay, so we go there. We're meeting Dan Brown, Break 'em Off Records. That's the label that Bone Crusher was signed to.
Okay.
That then they had the joint venture with So So Def. All right. So we're going to meet with Dan because Dan is looking to like work with Rico and sign Rico. We go, and then it was a light night. It really wasn't nobody even up in there like that. You know what I'm saying? So we done left. I'm in a Denali. Yukon Denali sitting on 23s, on them things.
On
You
them
feel me?
things. That was back when that was a thing,
That
though.
was a thing. I ride factory now. I don't care about that stuff,
Right,
man. You know
right,
what I'm saying? But in all of that, dap them up. They go hop in their car. I'm solo. I go get in my vehicle. Now, when y'all out in these streets and y'all go in the club and y'all hanging out at night, make sure everybody gets in the car.
That's right.
If you parked over here and you parked way on the other side of the lot, get in the car with them and let them drive you to your car.
That's
Wait till
right.
you get in the car. Say, everybody need to pull out together.
That's so true.
This is safe. And I learned this that night. So I go get in my car. And I had a habit. I always walked around my car, make sure there ain't nothing that my tires can, crush and damage the vehicle, anything.
Right.
So as I walk around, I come back on the driver's side, of the vehicle. Cats pop out this F-150. You know what it is. Nigga, lay it down. Now, I don't cuss. I just had to give y'all that redneck.
Right.
I do take my opportunities to hit you with that.
That's
It felt like a movie when you did that one.
So it's not just one. Mind you, that F-150 was sitting there the whole time. Tent so dark, I didn't even pay attention. Come around, he hop out passenger side. I'm coming up my driver's side. So that's one in my face. Two other ones hop out from the driver's side, come behind me. One come put a pistol in my back. And the other one standing there, he got his pistol out, he the lookout. I said, dang, they done got me. Immediately, I heard the voice of the Lord say, they're not going to kill you. This is the first time I've ever heard the audible voice of God. I've been in church. I've been in conferences. I've been in prayer meetings. I've been in all these things, and I have never heard the voice of God until this moment. I got arrogant. I took the keys. I said, nigga, you can have it then. It became a superpower. I went up. You feel me? I know I heard God.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I don't see these guys' faces. They ain't have no ski mask or nothing on. It's Christmas. If nothing else, it's cold outside. Put a ski mask on.
Right.
You feel me? It's 2 days after Christmas. Grabbed the keys, patted me down, took my cell phone. I had some yays. Done took my yays off my face, all this. Hopped in my truck and peeled out. I'm just standing there. But I heard the voice of God.
For the first time.
For the first time. It wasn't in church. It wasn't in none of that. It was out doing something I probably had no business doing. So to your point, we're not always going to experience or encounter God at church.
That's right.
Or for the first time at church.
Right.
And so as a T.D. Jakes, as a Bishop Long, as an Ed Long Jr., as you, we are the light, and we're supposed to go into these dark places. If Jesus did it,
right,
then why can't I?
I know that's right.
Come on, dog.
I'm glad, and that was perfect. I just be feeling like it's unrealistic expectations.
Come on,
sure.
And we're human. I don't look at my pastor as God. I look at just like the pathway, the pass through.
Yeah, the pass
for me to get
to where you on your way to get
that message, to get that guidance, because we don't know everything. And not saying my pastor know everything, but just understanding different perspectives. It can speak to you at you might be going through grief, you might be going through pain, you might be going through breakup, whatever, and it is just speak at that moment.
Yeah.
And then you can really just analyze it and internalize that.
For sure.
Yeah, it's different.
Where
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And again,
I don't know
we
if I
wish
shared that
that's
public.
all good. We wish we could spend more time, but we slick. Do got to rap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
listen, you know I can always pop back in.
But that's the thing. Yes, like we gonna put this on record. We definitely want you to come back.
Yes.
Praise
So
God.
we're going to do a part 2.
We gotta do a part 2.
Yes.
We gotta do a
So
part
be
2.
prepared for that.
We definitely got to do a
But
part 2.
before you leave, in honor of Women's History
Yeah.
Month, can you please just dedicate or honor a woman this month that you would like to just say, hey, shout out to you?
Well, I just got chills. And thank you for this opportunity.
Yes. It's
Shout out to be
Women's
like, let's
History.
put this whole play together, man.
Yeah.
Have women on your team. I'm telling y'all, it's so
Absolutely.
important. You gotta
Major.
have women on your team.
Major. My wife.
Mm.
Two for
Shout
two.
out
Yes.
Elaine. Real talk. She has birthed our 2 sons naturally, y'all. In the tub.
In the tub.
Or the pool at the hotel.
You got your
hospital.
doula.
Excuse me. Had our doula on deck, etc. And fully natural, no epidural, no shots, no painkillers. It was very important for us to have healthy babies.
Right.
And she did it. I'm there with the cameras, all that kind of stuff, but she had to do the work.
She had to put in
And
that work.
I witnessed it firsthand. Can't play with that.
That's when you
feel what I'm
first
saying?
witnessed, well, not when you first, but you witnessed life and death at the same time.
She said she felt like she gave up the ghost. So you right about it.
They say that's the closest
So-
women come to dying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So on this Women's Month, I shout you out. Thank you for being who you are, and I know our sons. Thank you very, very much. So they can't say it right now, but in due time they will.
They're gonna
give
appreciate
you
her.
your flowers. I want to pass them to you right now.
Yes.
Thank you. I love you, and happy Women's Month to all the women out here in the world. Don't stop. Keep going.
Well, Eddie Long Jr. said, hey, shout out to you, King. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through the show. Great
Don't leave
conversation.
me out there.
How you
Don't
looking
leave
at
me
me?
I got you, yeah.
Great conversation.
I got
We
you.
definitely, hey, we are 1,000% gonna do a part 2 of this
Yes.
because you definitely drop some gems and people need to hear from you more, man.
No,
God.
People need to
seriously.
hear more from you, man, for sure.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes.
I've been in the house, bro, but we coming out now.
Oh yeah, we outside.
Okay.
now.
We
It's
outside.
gonna be summertime.
Oh yeah,
boy.
yeah, yeah.
We outside.
Well, that's what it is, man.
Yes.
Hey, Miranda, man, DJ B-Lex, and Eddie Long Jr. to pull
Yeah,
that
shout out.
Infinite
Yes.
Vibes, man.
Know what it is.
Hey.